welcome to my new 4-Foot Friday post. Today we'll be talking about the Pacers' identity and what it is. So, basically, what I mean is, are the Pacers really contending? Are they tanking? What are they actually doing? They're kind of like that team that just sits in the middle of the road and doesn't pounce on anything. You know, the 76ers, they take one road, the tanking road, and now they're looking to compete. And then you have teams like the Warriors, the Cavaliers. They're in definite, contending mode. So the Pacers, they traded Paul George, to the Thunder. They got Victor Oladipo and Sabonis, two very young players. And from there, it looked like, okay, they're going to tank. They released Monte Ellis, and I'm like, okay, for sure they're going to tank. Even I thought, maybe they keep Monte Ellis, but they did the right thing. Release him, make sure that you get those young players and give players like Edmund Sumner minutes in the rotation, and therefore then you can tank. But what I don't get, they signed Darren Collison right after they released Monte Ellis and after they traded CJ Miles. And then they picked up another point guard in that trade. They picked up more assets. Also, keeping in mind, they signed Bojan Bogdanovic to a deal too. So, it just confuses me why. It looks like you're tanking, right? At one point, before, you sign Collison and Bogdanovic. It's just confusing because maybe you trade Collison and Bogdanovic, possibly get a first-round pick from a team, but probably you're going to end up getting a second-round pick unless you trade with the Cavs or Warriors or team that's going to get like the 30th pick in the draft. It's just confusing because you have Collison and Bogdanovic. After you release Monte Ellis, player that's very good, and you want to tank, you trade CJ Miles to the Raps. And then after, you trade Paul George, and you get two great young players to build around in Victor Oladipo, Sabonis. Also, adding onto a note, they have Miles Turner. So it confuses me. If you have Miles Turner, you have Sabonis, you have Edmund Sumner, and you have what should be the best player on the team, Victor Oladipo. Now you've just gone after Darren Collison and Bojan Bogdanovic. It's like, are they really contending? They have those good players that they could contend at this point, where they have Oladipo and Collison in the backcourt, Bojan Bogdanovic, and they also have Miles Turner. But it's not good enough to really compete, so you're not going to get anywhere. But the thing is, if you say, okay, we're going to tank, your players are too good to tank. Darren Collison is not going to tank. Bojan Bogdanovic played with the Wizards and was an excellent bench player, probably one of their only good bench players coming off that bench. And I don't think the Wizards should have let go of Bogdanovic, but after they signed Otto Porter to that massive deal, because obviously they had to. If they didn't, then he would have gone to the Brooklyn Nets. So it's kind of like, what really happens at this point? You have a good guard to you get a good guard to like a point guard, and then you combine that with Miles Turner. You combine that with Victor Oladipo, and then guess what? In 2-3 years, you can compete. Not just be a 10th seed team, not just be a 9th seeded team. You could even say 8th seeded, 7th seeded team, playoffs team, but they're not going to get anywhere. You have Miles Turner, one of the best centers in the NBA, one of the best young centers in the NBA, and then you have Victor Oladipo. You have Edmund Sumner as a good backup, but you need a starting point guard. If you want to succeed in the NBA, you need a starting point guard. So they get a good point guard in the draft, maybe, with the 6th, 7th pick, because they're tanking. Maybe even though Miles Turner is a good player, he's not good enough to get them out of if they were tanking, kind of like Anthony Davis. He's still a great player. However, the Pelicans still got the 6th pick in the draft, that type of thing. So you get a good pick in the draft. You get a really good point guard in the draft because it's top 5 pick probably. And then you have Victor Oladipo to pair with that. Great backcourt. And then you can get, then you can start looking in free agency to get your small forward. Or maybe you wait even a season after get another player, and now you have a small forward. Then you have Sabonis playing the starting power forward, and Miles Turner at center. But then they realize, oh, wait, we need players. We're going to compete now. But they can't it's like they're not good enough to compete, but they're not bad enough to tank. That type of thing. So really, it just sums up to they're going to be a 10th, 11th place team in the East. And, they don't want to be a 10th, 11th team in the East. They either want to be a 15th team in the East, the last team in the NBA, possibly, or they want to be 3rd, 4th, 2nd, 1st seed, because then they can possibly make a run in the playoffs. However, middle of the road is not where they want to be, and that's currently where they are. So we'll see what happens with the Indiana Pacers. We'll see where they go from here. But good luck, Paul George, in Oklahoma City, and we'll see. Can the Indiana Pacers get back from their bad free agency? I hate to say it, but it was bad. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of 4 Foot Friday. We'll see you next time where I post another video for 4 Foot Friday. Woo! Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time. Bye.